Alright, welcome back to the Crabby Dice. Today we're looking at the second expansion to Isle of Skye called Druids. So what are you going to get in the box? Well, you're going to get a Druid board, a bunch of new landscape tiles that are purple on the other side that we're going to use to refill this display, some stone tiles, we'll talk about that later, and a bunch of new objectives that you can shuffle into the base game objectives and have some more variety as you go. Alright, so for this video, this expansion doesn't actually change the base game that much, even compared to the first expansion. So this one's going to be pretty simple. Let's go through the setup, the rules, and I'm going to come back at the end and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the overall expansion. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, the setup for this one is really simple. Okay, all you're going to do first, before we even start talking about the Druid board, you're going to take your new objectives, shuffle them into your base game objectives. It's going to add just some variety to your future games. You don't even have to remove these for your future games, even if you're not playing with the Druid expansion. There's nothing special about these tiles. Alright, after that, for the Druid board, here, just put it next to your scoring board. Alright, you're going to stack all your purple landscape tiles, give them a good shuffle. You're going to take exactly 5 of them, and you're going to place them on the board on each of the numbered tracks over here. Alright, your stone tablets, just leave them next to the board. We're going to be getting those when you draft one of the tiles that have it on them. And that's pretty much it. You're ready to get started. Alright, so now let's talk about the rules. So the rules to this one are really simple, okay? It only adds one extra thing during the buying phase. So this is phase 4, and as you can see here, there is a 4 just as a reminder. So normally in the base game, what you would do is, when you go through phase 4, you do 2 buys, right? You buy a tile off somebody else, and then you buy your own tiles. Now for this expansion, you're actually going to do an extra buy sort of action. Alright, and you have 2 choices. You either buy a tile that's on the display, or you buy a tile from the bag. I'm going to take care of the bag first because it's pretty simple. You can pay 5 gold, you draw 2 tiles from the bag, and you keep one and you return the other one to the bag. Alright, and any of the tiles that you gain from this extra action also goes to your stack to be placed in phase 5. Alright, so they're no different from the extra tiles that you bid from other players or that you buy from yourself. Alright, your other option, if you don't buy it from the bag, is you can buy a tile from the Druid board over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to pay the amount, and the amount written is, as you can see here, for every single spot is going to be the stone value plus the money value. So for example here, this would cost 3 in total, this one would cost 4 in total, this one, and so on and so on. So this would be 7 in total. So you just have to pay the bank. So let's say I wanted this really badly, this tile, I would pay 7 to the bank. I would add this to my sort of stack to be placed in phase 5, and whenever somebody buys this, you're gonna slide everything over. So whether you buy the first one or the last one, everything slides over, and you're gonna replace it right away. Alright, I also did forget to mention that you're buying these tiles in turn order. So it's just like the buying phase. So you're gonna do this in turn order, then you're gonna buy your own, and then you're also gonna do this phase in turn order again. Alright, so the person who's first player is gonna have first dibs at buying, and is also gonna have first dibs at buying the Druid tiles. Alright. The only extra thing that changes is at the end of the round, when you're sort of doing the reset and you're passing the round marker to the next one and passing the first player marker, you're gonna discard the rightmost Druid tile, slide everything over, and just replace it with another thing. Alright, so the game doesn't actually change that much. Now, you're going to be asking, what are these stone tiles for? Well, as we go through some of these, let me find an example here. If you buy a tile that has a stone tablet on it, you're going to go through the stone tablet deck here, find that exact ability, and put it out in front of you. Now, these are just reminders that you have that ability, so that you don't have to look at your tiles all the time and you don't forget. Right now, if you have multiple of the same, they do stack. Alright, so if you get an ability that's like get 2 coin discount and you have 2 of them, well, guess what? Now you get a 4 coin discount. And those are pretty much all the rules to this expansion. Alright, well, wow, this is just an unbelievable expansion. I play with it every single time. This is going to be a quick review. I have no negative things to really say. I'm just going to talk through some of my positive points I really want to mention, and then we'll wrap this up. So why do I really like this expansion? For one thing, almost no rules overhead. Alright, you just have to explain one extra buy, and that's it. That's why I introduced this. No matter what, even if somebody's never played Isle of Skye before, you can play with this. It's fine. Alright, second thing that I love about this game is that it barely adds any time overhead as well. Alright, this is going to add probably around 10 minutes to your game. I mean, it could add a bit more depending on the AP of the other players. I know sometimes this game can last a bit longer if people are taking forever to choose the prices of their tiles and choosing the tiles they want to buy off other players. But if you're playing with people who've played before and they know what they're looking at, well, it's going to speed up really fast. Alright, the third thing I really love about this expansion is we're now adding 6 more tiles to your tableau, because you're pretty much going to buy an extra one every single round. That's just awesome. Alright, it adds to a lot more choices that you're going to be making through the game, instead of just the regular choices of which tiles you're going to buy from yourself and from the other players. Alright, now by adding more tiles, you're going to be scoring a lot more as well, so your end game objectives are going to score more. Also, keep in mind, every single tile in these stacks pretty much has a scroll, so that's going to add a lot to your end game scoring as well. Another positive is that in the base game, you're going to notice that, I mean, there's not that much end game scoring. There's not that many scrolls that you're going to score. So, you know, when you're scoring phase 6, you're pretty much in the know of who's going to win or not. Alright, with this expansion, you can score a ton of points at the end of the game, so you sort of don't know who's going to win even in the middle or at the end of round 6, which is awesome. Alright, it can add some suspense to your game. That's great. Alright, and probably another thing that I love and probably underrated is special powers. I mean, it's probably the only thing that was missing from the base game. Now this expansion introduces it. Most of these just deal with getting discounts, but you know, it's fine. It's better than nothing. Alright, so those are my thoughts overall on the expansion. It is mandatory. Try to get it and try to play with it, and there you go. Alright, so we'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Later.